Hello, Bryan Steele here, the professional nerd. Welcome to the last Tales from a Professional Nerd being recorded in 2020, a remarkable year, if not a pleasant one for everyone. Um, so you're actually going to be seeing this for the first time on New Year's Day. So to you, I say Happy New Year. And here's to 2021 being better, being what we want it to be, or even closer to what we want it to be. Um, I'm starting this off a little differently because it's going to be a special show. I took last week off for Christmas, and this week I got to bring you up to speed, and then we are going to talk about what I'm hoping for. I'm going to do my New Year's resolution for all of you. I'm going to do a couple of different versions of it, and then I'm going to talk about what I hope 2021 brings for us in all of its glory. So the last 2 weeks of Bryan, it was Christmas time. I had the kids for the holiday this year. My ex and Nori's biological father. Um, the Not the same person. My ex is Sarah, and her biological father is a Zach. Totally, never mind. I just realized that grammar-wise, someone could go. Um, every other year we trade the kids. Basically, they have Christmas at one house and Thanksgiving at the other, and we've done our best to make sure that they coincide. So that way, we otherwise every year we'd have one kid, and that would make for very awkward Christmases. So we go ahead and we flip flop them, and so this was our year to have them for Christmas. So we got to wake up to the Christmas tree full of presents and do the Santa stockings, and it was a ton of fun. Not not immediately like we kind of lounged around a little while. The kids are getting a little bit older, so they can kind of survive through breakfast. They don't immediately just like dive into the presents at 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, they the whole family let me sleep in a little bit, but then the presents, they happened. And obviously, the kids got a lot of stuff that they wanted. My wonderful stepdaughter is starting to get into anime cosplay with her friends, which is super weird and super cool. Nori is a very unique individual, and the fact that she has found her little inner circle of friends that are into obscure animes and doing cosplay and things. And for someone like me, who, when the convention circuit happens, I'm friends with professional cosplayers. People that's all they do for a living, and so it's so neat to see a young girl, a young group of girls who are and one boy. I totally forgot about one of their guy friends, um, who's that's like their hobby is getting into cosplay and stuff. So it's really neat. And so we got her a whole bunch of cosplay stuff. She got tons of new shoes, or new. She got new shoes. She got new clothes. She got. This is gonna be the warmest child of all time. She got several blankets of different kinds. One of them looks like a tortilla. It's a screen printed to be a big like silk screen tortilla. And then Connor got a waffle. Um, I have weird kids. What are you gonna do? Connor got a bunch of video game based stuff. He got his Oculus 2, which I won't lie, it's really cool, and I'm kind of. I told him that I was like, when it's here and he's not here, there may be some daddy using it to play some Star Wars games. And what you gonna do? Um, the Natalie got a bunch of stuff that she wanted. Um, a couple of things that were definitely not on her list. I love my kids to death, but they are so weird. And they do sometimes they think so far outside the box that it's uh, ironically quaint. Um, yeah, Nori is very big into making things. She makes a lot of jewelry. She makes a lot of stuff. She's very heavy into personal stuff when she does things for people. Connor is a little more like me in I would rather buy something for you, but I would rather it be um, not on your list. Like I don't want to just check something off that you said you wanted at some point. It'll be something that you said that you wanted after a couple of drinks 10 years ago. That's what I prefer. And so when I took the boy shopping for Natalie and Nori, he found he was making me laugh because he was just running around the store pointing out random things and being like, I could get her one of these, I could get her one of these, I could get her one of these, and it was like a foot scrubber, or at one point it was like a bath, what was it, like a bath towel bar. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I could. And so I was giggling, and it was that whole thing of, he's doing it because it's funny. And then he fell on a product that was a little more expensive than we wanted to spend, but he was meaning it as a joke initially. But I told him, I was like, bonus mom, that's what we call Natalie. Bonus mom has, issues with her sinuses and stuff. I was like, this might actually help. And so he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, think about, we have to constantly buy nasal spray when she's suffering. Like I like, there's times where I've had to run to the store specifically to go get, emergency nasal spray, because she's got really, really bad sinus issues. And so Connor got super set on, okay, that's what I want to get. I want to get this thing because it could help her. And it's so weird because it's, again, this middle out of nowhere random thought process that comes around to this. But then so Christmas morning when we're opening presents and things, he is like super gung-ho about pointing out, you should open mine, you should open mine, you should open that one next to you. And because he's excited to find out, or he's excited to point out to her that he actually had a thoughtful gift. That it wasn't that he got something to help her, which has been a thing as of late, to try and get a preteen to be open-minded and helpful in any situation. So it's very, again, very sweet, very weird, very cordial, and the kind of thing that I'll remember for a long time, whether or not they do. But yeah, so Christmas was great. I get to cook. I made a giant ham, and yesterday I made crab cakes and things. I'm a big, I cook is what I do. I love to. Hell, you guys have seen that at some point. I think I may have posted a video of this. I don't remember. Oh no, I posted about the cookbook. But I got for Christmas, I got a ton of cooking, like actual cooking stuff. I got some new knives. I got a gorgeous big thick-lidded panchava that is. I immediately went to town on some garlic and was like, I love it. I got an actual wok with a like a curved oil spatula. Yeah, so I know I'm going off about all this awesome stuff that I got for Christmas, but it was a solid good 2 days. Christmas Eve and Christmas, and then we went and we took Connor to his mom's house because that's the thing. That's the kind of the agreement that we've got. And then Nori actually took off for a week to Florida, to a little sequestered, no socially distanced. They're gonna, if they have to wear masks, they will. But it's a little beach in the middle of nowhere. No one is with them. It's just her and her grandma and her aunt and uncle, people who are a part of our personal bubble already. So they decided to go and do from Christmas to New Year's down at this little private beach thing. So it's just been Natalie and I and the animals, including the new addition to our household, Barry Allen. going along with the naming convention of all of our animals named after DC Comics characters. Um, DC Geek, what am I gonna do? Uh, the He's a little German Shepherd puppy that we got through a listing service. Natalie's been on the list for years now because of her illness. And right now we're just working on training him to be a good dog. After a short while, when he starts kind of getting the gist of things, he will start his official training to be a seizure and physical support dog. I've mentioned before Natalie's illness, her myasthenia gravis, she has frequent seizures of varying strengths, and occasionally her muscles will give out. So the purpose of a dog like this is not only to kind of stay and protect her if she's having one of these minor spells, but if she's having more of a major one, to give her something to sort of, I don't want to say collapse onto because that's not the right word, but like kind of slowly, for a larger breed dog like this, to help her sort of kind of bring her down into a safe position, and then keep her from hurting herself or anything during the seizure if one of us wouldn't be there. But we've been on a list for this dog through this program for a long time, and a few weeks ago our name came up, and while I was not really sure financially or timing wise or anything else, it was either pull the trigger on it and get the get the process moving, or your name goes back to the bottom of the list and it could be years. So we took the shot, and little Barry Allen has joined our family. And although he is crazy, and he definitely does not does not have the patience for the cats, and he wants to play so hard with his much larger older brothers, Bruce and John. He's crazy, and he is not quite housebroken yet. We're working on it. It's getting better every day. He has started to ring the bells at the back door. You know how it is. If you've ever had a puppy, they're gorgeous, and the only reason why we don't eat them is because they're cute. But yeah, that's been pretty much regular life. Playing some video games. Working on stuff in the interim, working on the Power Rangers game, a little bit of Spycraft stuff on the sly, and finally, I mentioned in the last video, got the editing done on the last Shadowrun book that I did, and I've got a meeting actually in a couple of days to talk about the next one. To hopefully get that set up and figure out what's the backdrop or the characters, and start doing putting my process together on how to build that plot line, and so forth and so on. But it's been just kind of, did a little commission painting. Still have a little bit left to do before like get back into the full swing of design stuff. Got to play. I've been playing a lot of video games, playing a lot of Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know why everybody's saying it's so buggy. It's not that buggy. It's actually pretty cool. Story is neat. I got into my first real big firefight last night, and I thought it was very interesting that there are enemy hackers that will cause you problems. Like they were making my cyber eyes go all goofy. It's cool. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some more playtime on that soon, before I get back. Because these next couple weeks are almost always really kind of light. Like all the game companies, everybody's taking vacations, everybody's doing their holiday stuff, everybody's kind of getting back into the swing of things. So I'm expecting probably the next couple of weeks it'll be kind of laid back, and then we'll dive in hard kind of mid-January. I but the video games. I'm trying to think. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. Playing a decent amount of the Necromunda video game. They just recently did the update to include the Van Sars, kind of the high tech gang, and they're cool. Their plasma weapons are neat. I'm having a blast blowing stuff up with plasma stuff. Um, but yeah, other than that, played a few games of D&D, always over Zoom. I officially got my kaleidoscopic paladin from the Paths to Adventure PDF for the DMs Guild. He's officially reached third level, so he has now taken on the oath, the kaleidoscopic oath. We'll see what's going to happen there. I have found out in the interim that one of the other players who just reached third level is playing one of the wild magic barbarians. So I'm sure it is going to be just crazy. The number of wild surges we end up accidentally having, unless the dice are kind to us. But it's that game's a ton of fun. I'm having a great time there, and I believe we are probably just about ready to level in my other game where I'm playing the Tabaxi Way of Rhythm and Flow monk, the Capoeira monk, which will be a very cool level for that guy because it's going to start meaning that I can punch ghosts and things at full damage. And more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, it starts opening up some of the other cool powers that subclass has. Speaking of Paths to Adventure, it's been doing okay on the DMs Guild. Not to the degree that I would like. I was really hoping that it would at only $4 a copy, that it would be flying off the digital shelves. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, it's selling, but it's not selling as fast as I thought it would. And I don't know if it's just I didn't advertise it properly, or it's the wrong time of season for it, or $4 is a weird price point. Maybe I should have done 2 or 5. I don't know. I will say this: if you are a fan of my work and you would like to help see more of it, please follow the link in the description of this video and either download it for yourself, or if you've got somebody who is a D&D fan, buy them a copy. Again, it's only $4, and it will the more of that thing that I sell, the faster I'll be able to put out my next one. My next one is a monster book. It's got a dozen and a half kind of new special crazy monsters, and then I've already lined up the next one after that. So it just kind of depends on how fast these guys get to the number that I need to make them profitable before I can put out the next one. So please, please, please. I know I hate begging. I hate being like, please buy my things. But if you like D&D, or if you know somebody who likes D&D, follow the link in my description and either buy them a copy or buy yourself a copy, because the more traction that gets, the more likely it will end up on the front page of the DMs Guild. And if it's on if it ends up on the front page of the DMs Guild, it's almost guaranteed that it gets more sales. So please, please, please. Again, it's only $4, and you'd be doing me a big favor if you helped get that product to move. Let's see. I just so talking about work again. I just finished the 4th and 5th waves of stats for Warzone. So basically, while I can't speak the specifics of it, when we do the Kickstarter or I should say when Alex does the Kickstarter for Res Nova for Warzone, the goal is to have it small and manageable, have it represent the factions, the opening factions, and then maybe have a couple of the splinter factions be stretch goals. Like having their first boxes be stretch goals or something like that. Again, I can't speak specifically because a lot of it's going to depend on the prototyping process, how much stuff we believe we can get made, get design tested and made properly, in order to ship it out in a timely fashion. Because that's the other issue, is that if a Kickstarter does okay, like not bazillions of, nothing like, oh my god, here's $1 bazillion, but like it does okay, it's a solid start. You've got to take into consideration how long it's going to take you to get that product out to your backers, and if it's going to go into distribution, when are you timing that, and then timing the next wave of models to come out after, so that way everyone can keep buying things, and the stores can be happy, and you're going to be happy, and the players will be happy, and everybody's happy. And then eventually it becomes a cycle that you have X number of models that get put out every other month or every quarter or whatever, however well the business model is. That's something you got to take into consideration, because let's just say that if Alex, Alex's fabricator comes through and just like slams out a ton of these prototypes, gets all the sprues ready, and the printers do the boxes and the cards, and everything's like just piles of stuff are ready to rock and roll, and then he does the Kickstarter and gives it all away. That means that he is basically emptying his coffers, his cupboard be dry, and then you got to look at that money and be like, all right, how much of this can I put to this? How much of this can I put to this? It is better to don't give everything away with the Kickstarter. Just get it going enough so that way the players are happy, the retailers now have a reason to order you at distribution levels, and the new players are happy because they don't feel like they are screwed because they didn't buy in at the Kickstarter. Let's say you buy your. I'm looking at you, Alfie, because I know you watch my videos. Let's say Alfie backs the Kickstarter. He gets the stuff. He goes to his local store, plays a game. Some guy walks up and goes, "Man, I can't wait. I want to play this. What are the other factions? What do I get to do?" And then he goes to look at the store, and the store says, "I don't know. Alfie's playing with Kickstarter stuff. I can't get a hold of that. It's all sold out." Suddenly, you've got a player who wants to get the product. He wants to get into the game, but he can't because the Kickstarter ripped all of the inventory out from underneath the company. Or he goes, "Oh, well, hey, store, I'll just buy the next thing that comes out, whatever next faction comes out or like that." And then you have this giant swell of whatever faction comes out post Kickstarter release that ends up being the faction that everybody and their brother has. It's a timing issue, and that is something that Alex and I have talked about a great deal. Is what do we want to have as the initial release? How much do we want to give as part of the Kickstarter? What kind of stretch goals do we even do? Do you do add-ons? Do you do, so there's a bunch of stuff. We have been talking about this. That's not to say that, like, as soon as 2021 clicks over, we're gonna be like, all right, here we go. Because there is still websites to create. There is still packaging to create. There's still a lot of stuff that needs to get done for this, for the Kickstarter to launch and to happen. But that being said, the fact that I have now finished statting out and special rulesing and basically finished the creation process of the first 5 waves of models for the game, almost 6. There is the sixth wave that I have designed is kind of questionable as to whether or not it needs to be a wave or it needs to just be an add-on or something like that. But either way, the fact that there's a ton of merch. Like that's for a small company, 5 to 6 waves worth of models. That could be an entire year's worth of releases, depending on how quickly things sell and how the fabricators come through and how you guys, the fans, how fast you guys buy that stuff up. So that's the thing that I have to kind of keep in my head when I'm designing stuff. And then you got to try and make it even. You don't want to go too crazy and be like, well, one faction has everything. I do believe that that's where some other games that are currently on the market are failing. Is they put out too much for one faction all at once, and then it takes 6 years to come back around to give them any new love, or the opposite, that you see your first tournament of that game at your local store and everybody showed up with one or two factions. That's a problem. You want a good spread. You want some variety. You want your players to have variety too. Nobody wants to play the same thing for 8 hours. Like bleh. That's the case. I go to a chess tournament. So I'm just it's honestly it's because I'm excited. With the last wave of stuff that I just got done, calculating all the stats and stuff for, and giving them their special abilities and things. It wrapped a bow around a particular sub faction. I have to stay vague for legal reasons, but there is a sub faction that has historically been treated very poorly by the other companies that have carried the license. Not on purpose, not like we hate these people. It's just timing. They always end up being the last ones to get to see the love. And I go through the fan pages and I read all the things, and people love this sub faction. They're a big fan, to the point where there's recently been some 3D printed proxies effectively that are selling really well. Basically, the fact that I got that done and I feel really good about it. I feel really good about the direction that it's going. That when I sit down and work on waves, 6 and 7 and 8 or whatever, that I think that sub faction is going to excel, is going to do really well. And not because its rules are broken or anything like that. It's got a solid feel. This is the part of Warzone of our new Warzone. This is the part that I'm really excited about. There isn't a faction that if someone looked at me and was like, I've got all of the models, let's sit down and play. There is not a faction or sub-faction currently that I would turn my nose up at. That I would go, I don't really like how these guys play. Because I did my damnedest to design every single model, every single faction, every single sub-faction, that they've got their own feel and they've got a reason why you might want to bring them to the table. Now, if you personally don't care about that, collection of traits or weapons or stats or whatever, that's fine. That's a different story. But I will never purposely design something that I don't want to play. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I'm running my mouth. But so long story short, I am very, very excited for where Warzone is going. We'll actually talk a little bit about that when we get into the 2021, what we hope to see. So speaking of, all right, that's pretty much been the last 2 weeks in Bryan. Puppies, games, kids, Christmas, eating, cooking, sleep. Let's take a look at the end of 2020. 2020 has sucked for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. It's been a decent year for me professionally. So actually, it's been a pretty good year for me professionally. Personally, it's been hard. It is very difficult to be a social creature like myself and be told, no, you can't go hang out with your friends twice a week. No, no, the only time you are going to get together is over the internet. No, there are no more conventions. You don't get to see half your friends because the only time you ever see them is at conventions. Uh, that part has been very rough. It's been very hard to see my friends through a digital filter and then go, man, I really wish I could be there. You know, I really wish I could enjoy these moments with them. Um, and I think that that's the number one lamentation I have for 2020 personally. Um, I know a lot of people have gotten sick. I know a lot of people have died. A lot of people have gotten, affected in that sort of way. Um, I have been very fortunate that very few of my friends and family have even contracted the illness, and nobody super close to me has died from it. So I'm very, knock on wood, I'm very convenient. Yeah, I've been very lucky um, for that to have happened or not happened, I should say. Um, I scored a novel gig. I did a short story and a novella this year. Um, I scored probably one of the coolest role playing game license gigs to be a part of that Renegade Games team to do Power Rangers. Uh, it's 2020 has been trying and exhausting, but it has been very good for me professionally, and I can only hope that I'm going from strength to strength into 2021. Um, so while I talk about the going into 2021, everybody likes to make New Year's resolutions. Everybody likes to say this is what's going to happen, and then 9 times out of 10, give them 2 weeks, and they've already broken it. Everybody and their brother tries to quit smoking, or I'm going to cut junk food out of life, or I'm not going to drink soda, or I'm going to lose weight. There's always a ton of those that float around, and then after a month's time, the first big stressor hits, the first trigger happens, and you go, you know what? I can't. I can't. I got to do this. It is what it is. So I'm going to make a couple of different New Year's resolutions, and I think that my New Year's resolutions are going to be hopefully realistic, and I'm going to make them as part of the different aspects of my life. Rather than doing one big sweeping one, because I also think that a big sweeping generalization doesn't really do anything for the little guy, for the little aspects of my life that you know that isn't going to affect them. Then why would I do that? So instead, I will go ahead and make a few different resolutions. Um, First and foremost, and I actually started this online earlier when Wonder Woman 84 came out, and everybody started trashing it sight unseen. Um, I am going to try my best to avoid open internet conflict. Um, I tend to wade into arguments where there is something that is in the back of my head, gritting in my teeth, that someone has said something that is fight worthy. Whether it's their opinion, whether it is some kind of misjudged fact, or maybe it is something that they know that I don't, but it just makes me mad. Sometimes I will pull the gloves off and I'll go wading into the ring, ding ding ding, and be like, all right, someone's gonna get it. And what ends up normally happening is whoever I'm arguing with or people adjacent to them, we don't talk for many, many weeks. Everyone's very awkward, and feelings get hurt. And I think I've decided that unless it is a fundamental disagreement like human rights or bigotry in the hands of the powerful, that sort of thing. That's not me picking a fight. That's me hopefully standing up for the downtrodden and standing up for just basic human decency. But for the most part, I'm going to try not to throw my opinion where it's not asked for. That's a big problem with the internet. It's a big problem with me on the internet. Is I see someone say something and they're a friend of mine, and it's basically like if I walked by them in the hallway and they said that thing, and I stopped, and I turned around and walked around. I was like, and blah 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 blah. They don't care. They don't want to hear my side of things. If not, they would have gone to my page and asked me a question, or started the conversation there, or invited me into the conversation. So that's my personal one. Is I want to try and keep my Facebook, my Twitter, my TikTok, and my Instagram, I guess. I'm going to try and keep them from turning into war zones. Not Warzone, our game Warzone. Warzone about an actual like verbal battleground. Not because I'm tired of arguing. It is because going into the next year, I know I'm going to be busy. I've got a lot going on, and spending precious time being a keyboard soldier in a fight that I don't really need, because most of the time it's just opinions anyway. I'm not gonna change that other person's mind. That's not likely. And if I am, it's not going to be from arguing. It's going to be from actually discussing with them. And that's a different story too. Is I don't think that this New Year's resolution is going to keep me from discussing things. It's just going to keep me from trolling in and trying to set verbal traps, and get people to put their own foot in their mouth and then go, ha ha ha, look what you did. I think it's just going to be about respecting other people's opinions, even if I think that they're the worst, the farthest away from the right answer. Is that if I can't discuss it calmly and with some manner, some modicum of respect for another person, then there's no reason for me to be part of that bad conversation. I'll say my piece and then I'll walk away and say, this is my opinion, you guys are entitled to your own, and then be gone. On a family level, I want to have taken New Year's resolution to hopefully spend a little more time outside of the studio with my family. These four walls that you see here, especially when things get really hectic, I tend to spend 12 to 14 hours a day in here. And that's a lot of time. That's a long work week. And this year, I do believe that it has taken a little bit of a toll on me physically. Me sitting in this chair forever, not getting up and about, not going. And I used to walk to the post office every day. Now lately, I've been driving just because it's faster, and it gets me back to work on time. I do believe that I need to try and make my days more like other people's work days, and finish on time, start earlier if I have to, but finish on time so I can so I can cook and do a decent dinner with my family, spend some time with them, watch some movies, play some games with them, have some time while they still want to spend time with me. My kids are both preteens, and here pretty soon, I'm not going to be their best friend that they want to sit and read webcomics with or watch YouTube shows with. They're going to be like, Dad, get out of my room. And I know that's coming. So I need to I need to try and be better about making time for them, making time for Natalie. Um, that you know, you work to live, you don't live to work, and sometimes I forget that. Speaking of work, my work resolution, honestly, is going to be, I am hoping to have at least 4 titles, 4 games that I was the lead designer or writer. Um, I'm shooting for 4 for this year. We already know Power Rangers. We already know Warzone. Um, and that it leaves me with two empty spots where I think there will be somebody out there that needs my assistance, or if I have to, I will make my own thing and publish it once some more funds become liquid. Um, Whatever the case may be, I want to continue to focus on maintaining that feel and that kind of respectability of making games and being part of gaming and being part of design teams that I'm proud of. I don't want to just take any gig to take any gig. I really do want to I've always said that I'm a game designer because I want to leave things behind for I want to leave a legacy behind for like my kids and my kids' kids to eventually say, hey, Grandpa made this game, we should play it. And or my I would hope that I play D&D with my kids now. Let's fast forward 20 years and they're playing D&D with their kids. They go, this world that we're playing in, your dad or your grandpa, he used to work on this. I would love that. I would love to be able to open up a book and show my grandkid and go, yeah, I made all this. This is what I used to do or still do, depending, because everyone says I'm probably never going to retire. I'll die with a keyboard under one hand and a set of dice in the other. Um, but yeah, so professionally, I want to have four license or 4 games out that I'm ahead on, that I'm one of the leads on. Um, at least one more novel next year. Um, Maybe 2 if I have time, but I would like to do at least one more. Um, if I have my druthers, I'm working on a secret project that no one knows about in my spare time. That if it works, it will be like the golden child of my 2021. But I also am realistic in the fact that I might just be doing this for my own edification, and it may never it may never come to light. Um, Whatever that may be, that is something that I'm hoping for in 2021, to at least get it in front of the company and go, what do you think? And then I think my last resolution for going into 2021 is one that is partially based for you guys. We're going to call it friends and fans. Basically, the people who know me through various channels, whether it's I play at the local store with you or whatever, or you watch me here on this, you watch me on TikTok or anything like that. Is I want to keep creating decent content, um, and I'm hoping to get a bigger viewer base, that sort of thing. Um, I don't ever see myself monetizing it. Doesn't make any sense. Um, but I would like to continue to use it as a way to help the gamer populace and possibly give advice, that sort of thing. I've gotten a little bit further away from that in the last couple of months with the channel. This channel started as a way for me to try and help people who want to be freelancers, to let them know how things work. But now that work is actually pretty steady, I know that that's not where a lot of these episodes have gone. Some of them have just been kind of weird and weird topic of the day sort of thing. So, but for that one, I am going to require you guys to leave some comments and let me know some stuff that you would like me to talk about. Any kind of questions you might need answered, that kind of thing. Because if I don't know you want me to talk about it, I can't just spontaneously come up with it. My hopes, now that my resolutions are aside, my hopes for 2021, I think about three big solid hopes. And they're not like, I hope I make $1 billion on one of my licenses. It's not like that. I hope that my industry, we get some of our conventions back. Maybe not the gigantic ones, maybe not Gen Con, but some of the smaller ones where they can, make it as safe as possible. Get vaccinated people to come play. I really want this whole COVID-19 nonsense to be gone. It is taking a toll on us as a people. It is taking a toll on me as a person. And as an industry, it is changing how we do things to the point where I think that a lot of us old timers, a lot of us people who have been in the gaming industry a long time, at some point we are going to hurt. It's going to hurt us trying to change to this new digital only, no stores, no conventions, no access to the people except for Reddit. That's really what I've got there is I really want I want him to come back, but I want him to come back safely and not stupidly like, hey, let's do this and just hope for the best, because that's how things rear their ugly head again and everyone gets sick again. I hope to be able to travel to see one of my best friends at some point. It occurred to me actually just last night we were playing D&D, and he mentioned that I had never seen his new house, and he's been in it for almost a decade. And it is a drive, it's several states away, but it pointed out to me that I need to plan some time for me to do that, to go see him, go see his kids, and really make an effort to be a better friend. We see each other digitally all the time. We talk all the time, on the phone or whatever. But I think, especially with the convention circuit being down, I want to try and make kind of take the extra step for him, because I know he'd do it for me. And then I said that one of the other things that I really want to see out of 2021, I'm torn. I'll let you guys know this now. I love being a freelancer. It's awesome working for as many people as I do, but sometimes it's very overwhelming. Sometimes it is, I've got too many contracts, or not enough contracts, or nothing's paying anytime soon. So, oh God, the bills are going to come. They're all going to be late. So what I would love to find a way to have a little more financial stability. Whether it is we, post up the GoFundMe again and get rid of Natalie's medical bills, and so that's one less thing we have to worry about. Whether it is, I focus on one of our credit cards just to get rid of, to give myself a little more breathing room, for paying bills, or if it comes down to a company that might offer a steady salary position, so long as it doesn't hurt my existing gigs or hurt my ability to do the things that I want to do. um, I would seriously consider it. I would seriously think about that. Um, there are companies that I have worked for in the past that I probably would not come back to. Um, I'm not going to really get into those, but they would have to offer a whole lot of money for me to want to come back and deal with that headache. Um, and then again, there are also a couple of companies that I've talked to that if they could financially take care of me, I would cut most of my freelance ties in a heartbeat. That's just how it is. Um, and every week that I have one of these shows, I always end it with, that we go out there and play some games. That is what I want to do. That is going to be another one of my resolutions or not one of resolutions, that what I'm looking forward to for 2021 is getting to play more games. Just 40K, I got all this brand new cool stuff I've used once because then COVID hit and it's impossible to do stuff. I have an entire Necromunda gang that one of you guys bought me. Thank you, by the way. That I've used only a couple of times. There's so much, uh, so much that I know that we've missed because of the virus, that I'm hoping we get past it as quickly as we can and as safely as we can next year, so we can go into and fix all of what I was just talking about. Make time for those things, make them happen again, make them happen safely. And so that's one of the things I hope out of 2021 is getting to play games with people again, having game nights. I can't tell you how awesome it's. God, it's been over a year at this point, definitely over a year, that one of my best friends opens his doors and we play one of the longest, most insane board games, Twilight Imperium. We play, we set it up and we expect that it's going to take the whole day, so it turns into like a beer barbecue hangout session from like 10 in the morning until 10 at night, playing this game off and on. And I miss that so much. I miss that. I miss it a ton. I miss it a ton. So I'm hoping to be able to go back and do those. A few of our close friends have moved because of their jobs and things. So I look forward to seeing them again. But it definitely was a shock when to find out that I've got three different sets of friends that are getting married probably next year. Hopefully, post COVID, so we can actually go to a ceremony and see them and wish them well in their marital bliss. Um, but I honestly think just overall, I think I want 2021 to be a year of learning for myself and others. For myself, I want to know more about the industry that I'm in. I want to know more about how to advertise with it. I want to know more how to do some of the inner workings that I have to be shown how to do as it is. Um, it's just one of those things where I I really want to know more about how to do all these things so I can maybe help somebody else in the future. Um, so there you have that. Uh, I just I'm really excited to hopefully get past all of the badness and start having a normal life again. Um, and so that's really where I want to leave you tonight or today, is with a happy new year, with a happy how do you do, a little blow of my horn, and to say this, that thank you so much for being my viewing audience, for sticking with me, for hopefully buying my PDF off of the DMs Guild. Just kidding, not really. Um, I really want to thank you for sticking with me, for being fans, for following me on Facebook, for following me on TikTok, to showing others my videos, and all the way down to the comments and things that you leave on these videos and the discussions that it's created. I, especially in a year like this where COVID has robbed us of our conventions, which is normally where I love to interact with people on a larger scale. Uh, the comments that you leave and the conversations that we have, um, that fills a lot. That scratches that itch. So I've got to say thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this. And here's to 2021 being. If everybody think I have a little bit left to drink. Never cheers with an empty drink. Here is to 2021 being even 4/5 of what we need it to be to get us out of the slump that we're in and to start heading towards brighter, cooler stuff. So from me to you, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in a week with more Tales of a Professional Nerd. I'm not going anywhere, but I am going to go out, have some fun, and play some games. See you later.